Alright, hey everybody, it's Johnny. I'm back with more reaction and analysis content. Today we're looking at The Sound of Silence as covered by Bobby Bass over on YouTube. Recently we just reacted to Jeff Castellucci's cover of the song, so it's kind of a bass anthem. In a way, it's pretty popular for bass singers to be covering. I'm pretty sure, I think Marwan is the only member of the bass gang that hasn't covered The Sound of Silence by this point. Because I know Peter hasn't, and Tommy has actually. Tommy's cover of The Sound of Silence might be one of my favorites of all time. But yes, anyway, everybody and their mother has covered this song. So it's interesting to see so many different variations of that, and I'm sure we're going to get something new and exciting from Bobby. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, we're live, let's hit it.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence.
So I've always loved the warmth of Bobby's tone. It's so expressive. You can sing really low and have so much warmth and so much bassy tone to it. I'm gonna find the key. So in D minor, that's a lucky guess, but the original Disturbed cover, which I think he's going based off of, is in F sharp minor. Hello darkness, my old friend. Bobby's keying it down a little bit to get a lower register than David from Disturbed did. Hello darkness, my old friend, I've come to talk with you. So range is like probably like D2 to like F3 or something. So nice range displayed in this first verse here. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm back. I had to tend to something real quick. Anyway, yes, so beautiful range and beautiful expressive warmth throughout this whole range of the first verse. Now, I said in my reaction to Jeff's cover that when you sing this song, it's 5 verses, and each of those 5 verses should progress deeper and deeper into the story that we're telling with this song. So I'm excited to see where Bobby goes with the building of this song.
Still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone.
So even right here, so as we switch into the second verse, we kind of hug that major first a little bit. The song is in a minor key. So if we switch this, it creates a much warmer tone. So I like how the second verse does that, and that's the Disturbed arrangement of the song. But in the same context, as we go from this first verse to the second verse, we build a little bit more in the fervency and the passion and the forward motion. So listen to the difference of his voice here.
Within the sound of silence.
Of silence. So he has a nice warm tone there on that low D.
In restless dreams
And then right away as we get into the second verse, in restless, we get the bigger sound. A little bit more forward motion in the sound, a little bit bigger of a sound. So I really like the way that develops right there in that little instant.
I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light.
The subtlety of the backgrounds here, like when we add those strings in for just a second on cold and damp, and then they drop back out, is very subtle. but I think it's all there for a reason. And in terms of the arrangement, like I said, we are going very similar to Disturbed, but a little bit more stripped down. Like there is the acoustic guitar strumming in the background, but it's very almost sporadic. It's very like the melodies it's playing are a little bit more spaced out than they are on the Disturbed cover. A little bit more stripped back, like I said. Yes, very similar to Disturbed, but with its own subtlety that I think is really making it appreciable.
When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light,
So do a little bit of an experiment here.
and the vision that was planted in my brain.
So that's that same line from the first verse. Now let's listen from the second verse.
When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light.
So both in the backgrounds and in his vocal performance, there's a little bit more forwardness. I keep going back to that, but that's the sound. Push a little bit more air through the sound to get a bigger sound. And I think, again, he's doing that from the first verse to the second verse to imply that we're building. And I think that's how the song is supposed to go. I think that's, between all the different artistic variations of the song, I think that's something that's consistent through each one, that build all the way to the end. So I think he's doing really well, at least with these first two verses here.
That split the night and touched the sound.
Ooh, so...
And touched the sound.
Okay, nice beefy low C there. But again, it's not like a Jeff Costolucci hitting like a big G1. It's not like that kind of beefy. It has like such a warm tone behind it. I'd equate Bobby's bass more to Avi Kaplan than Jeff Costolucci, just because of that warmth.
And touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw
So we are going for this high octave. Let's get it.
10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs that voices never share. And no one
People writing songs that voices up to that F4 up there. Nice. And as we do that, we're slipping more into a mixed voice. We can't full chest those notes. I mean, Bobby has gone pretty high in chest before. I mean, Iris, he did the in full chest voice. But anyway, since we're trying to still maintain that warmer tone, belting up there is probably not what we want, at least at this point in the song. I don't know what he's going to do later on. But so we're mixing that belty chest voice with the head voice to create a warm, soft tone up on those high notes for Bobby. So very nice technique up there in that high register.
people writing songs
You can kind of hear where he switches there.
without listening. People writing
He maintains chest up to that. Songs, and on songs he kind of switches. People writing songs.
songs that voices never share.
And even then, you can hear where he switches. He's using that C and the D to cut, like that's where he's trying to cut off and switch from a full chest voice to a mix.
And no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fool said, you do not know. Silence like a cancer grows.
So he's singing well into the third octave. Silence like a cancer grows. And I think people sometimes underestimate how much bass frequency you can even get in that octave. Because they think bass, you need like, oh. But no, you can, oh, with the right warmth and the right sound and the right shape of that syllable, you can still get a lot of bass frequency. And I think even up to with the right warmth and darkness, you can maintain that bass frequency. And I think he's doing a good job with that here. It's still like a bass cover, even though he's singing in the high register here.
But no, silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I teach you. Take my arms and I reach you. But my words like silent raindrops fell and echoed in the wells of silence, and the people bowed and prayed.
So you can hear, even if you go to the beginning of each verse and compare where the background vocals are and where the lead vocal is, and the background instruments are and where the lead vocal is, you can see the build that we're getting between each verse. So when we hit this fifth verse, and the people bowed and prayed, we want the fullest power we can get in the vocals and in the background instrumentals. So let's listen to the first verse and then this part right here.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Alright, that line is all we need. Now let's go back.
And the people bowed and prayed.
And listen, whether he's in that like softer, warmer tone or that more commandeering tone in this fifth verse, he's maintaining the same quality, the same forward motion. I keep going back to that, but that's like, and it's so important with vocals. You need to like push the air to get the commanding sound that you want, especially in these higher parts, but also in the lower parts, like in the beginning. But I think Bobby's doing an exceptional job with taking the rein and maintaining good control in all registers and in all contexts of the piece.
People bowed and prayed to the neon god they made.
Okay, so he's full on belting that high D, but he also has a harmony part on up to that high mixed F again, and I think that's a really beautiful harmony right there. Very impactful.
To the neon god they made, and the sign flashed out its warning, and the words that it was.
Okay, so that's the beltiest high F he's hit there. I think he was going for like the full belt in this part, since we're like at the end we want it to be as big as it can be. But I was also hearing, listen.
To the neon god they made, and the sign.
It's the same thing I was talking about before. And the sign, even on those higher notes, you can get such bass frequency. Like it can almost trick you into thinking he's singing lower than he actually is.
They made, and the sign flashed out its warning, and the words that it was forming, and the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls, and whispered in the sound of silence.
Okay, all octaves here. I was also listening for something else though.
In the sound.
Classic. When we cut off sound, we want that big gap, and as we have that big gap, we have the fading of the strings and the echo of his voice carrying through. Very nice.
Of silence. Hey guys, thank
Hi,
you so
Bobby.
much for checking out my Sound of Silence music video.
All right, I listened to this at the end. Some of you don't like that I stopped before the. I do listen to them. I just like to listen to them off camera because it feels awkward sitting here and listening to somebody talk. But anyway, that's just my opinion. But anyway, he held that last chord a lot longer than I've heard other covers do it. It seems to hold for a really long time as we kind of start taking away the background visuals, which I didn't even mention. The visuals in this are really cool. It's just a really cool setting to be singing this, and it creates a feeling of isolation and darkness around you, which, again, is kind of like what the song is going for in terms of its messaging. But yeah, very, very excellent cover. It gave me chills when he was up there, like in the fourth and fifth verses, up in the high beltier parts. Yeah, it's very similar to Disturbed's cover, but it's a unique take on its own, and I think it's entirely viable. I think it's a treat to the ears. So I think this is a commendable performance by Bobby Bass, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Bobby and the rest of the Bass Gang are planning for later this year. But yes, with that, that's all I have for you guys in this video. So I'm gonna sign off now. Peace.